Let us start by asking you a question. Have you ever truly wondered what it takes to live a fulfilling, vibrant life well into your 60s, 70s, and even your 80s? Imagine for a moment waking up each day with your body still feeling strong, your mind sharp and focused, and your heart filled with purpose and joy. Picture yourself not just surviving, but thriving, building meaningful relationships, staying engaged with the world around you, and embracing the opportunities that each day brings. In this video, we're going to take you on a journey through the 8 essential habits that can help you create exactly that kind of life, one where health, vitality, and happiness aren't just reserved for the young, but continue to flourish as the years go by. As we dive into these transformative habits, you'll uncover practical steps that can enhance your physical well-being, sharpen your mental resilience, and foster those deep social connections that make life richer and more meaningful. By the end of this video, not only will you understand how to sustain your energy and zest for life, but you'll also see why beginning these practices now can shape a brighter, more resilient future. Trust us, these insights could completely redefine how you approach aging, so stay with us because you won't want to miss a single detail. Before we jump in, we would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to like this video. Your support allows us to continue sharing valuable lessons on how to age gracefully and live a life full of vitality. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss any of our future content designed to help you thrive at every stage of life. Number 1. Physical health. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to maintain your independence as you grow older? It's a question that often sneaks up on us as the years pass, but it's worth considering long before we reach our later stages of life. Independence isn't just about being able to do things on your own, it's about having the freedom to live life on your own terms, maintaining control over your body, your mind, and the decisions that shape your daily experience. Let's explore what it takes to preserve that kind of freedom, with an example that may feel familiar to many of us. Think of someone like Frank, a man in his 70s who, despite his age, lives each day with a sense of vitality and purpose. Frank's independence isn't something he takes for granted, it's the result of a lifetime of habits that have kept him physically active, mentally sharp, and emotionally balanced. For Frank, every morning begins with a commitment to his well-being. He wakes up, stretches his legs, and heads out for a brisk walk around the neighborhood. This isn't just exercise for Frank, it's a moment of reflection, a time to clear his mind, and a way to remind himself that he's still very much in control of his body. As Frank moves through his day, he doesn't rely on anyone to help with the basics. He dresses himself, prepares his meals, and keeps his home tidy without assistance. To many, these might seem like small accomplishments, but to Frank, they represent a deeper sense of self-reliance. There's a kind of quiet dignity that comes from knowing you can still handle the little things. Each time he puts on his shoes or chops vegetables for dinner, Frank is reminded of the value of taking care of himself, of maintaining his autonomy in a world that sometimes expects older people to depend on others. But Frank's independence isn't just about doing things on his own. It's about the choices he makes every day to ensure his body stays strong and his mind stays clear. One of the ways Frank does this is through regular physical activity. He understands that exercise isn't just about looking fit, it's about staying flexible, maintaining balance, and preventing the kind of falls that can lead to more serious problems down the road. Frank has found his rhythm in activities like swimming and yoga, low-impact exercises that keep his muscles engaged without straining his joints. Physical strength is just one aspect of independence, though. Frank also pays close attention to what he eats. His diet is full of vibrant, nutrient-rich foods that fuel his body with the energy it needs to keep going. He enjoys preparing meals that are colorful and nourishing. Rich greens, bright oranges, and deep reds fill his plate. He avoids heavily processed foods because he knows they drain his energy and contribute to the kinds of chronic illnesses that can take away his sense of freedom. Frank doesn't see food as just something to satisfy his hunger. To him, each meal is an opportunity to invest in his future. By eating well, he ensures that he'll have the strength and vitality to live the life he wants, on his own terms. A balanced diet doesn't just support his body, it enhances his mood, keeps his mind sharp, and helps him feel connected to the world around him. Speaking of connection, Frank knows that independence doesn't mean isolation. He remains socially active, engaging with friends and family, attending local events, and staying involved in his community. Social interactions are an important part of Frank's life. They give him a sense of belonging and help him stay mentally sharp. Conversations with others challenge his mind, keep him curious, and prevent the kind of loneliness that can lead to mental decline. But Frank's commitment to independence goes beyond his social and physical health. He also takes care of his mental well-being. Frank has made it a habit to read every day, to engage with ideas that stretch his thinking and keep his brain active. Whether it's a book, an article, or even a challenging puzzle, Frank makes sure to feed his mind as much as his body. Mental exercise is as essential as physical movement. It keeps the mind agile, prevents cognitive decline, and helps maintain a sense of purpose. What sets Frank apart, though, is his emotional resilience. He understands that part of staying independent means being emotionally self-sufficient as well. Life brings its share of challenges, but Frank has learned to manage his emotions with grace. He practices mindfulness, takes time to reflect on his feelings, and works through difficulties without letting them weigh him down. Emotional balance is just as crucial as physical and mental health when it comes to maintaining independence. One of the keys to Frank's success is his ability to stay proactive. He doesn't wait for problems to arise. He takes steps to prevent them before they happen. For example, he's mindful of his balance and strength, regularly engaging in exercises that improve both. He knows that falls are a common issue for older adults, and by staying strong, he reduces his risk of injury. It's this forward-thinking attitude that allows Frank to continue living life on his own terms. This story also involves a sense of spiritual peace. He has cultivated a mindset that embraces change, adapts to new realities, and finds meaning in the small joys of everyday life. He doesn't fight against the natural process of aging, but instead accepts it as part of life's journey. This inner peace keeps him from feeling frustrated or defeated by the things he can no longer do. Instead, he focuses on what he can do, celebrating each moment of independence as a victory. Frank's approach to life teaches us that independence isn't a destination, it's a lifestyle. It's about making choices that support your physical, mental, and emotional well-being, and it's about finding joy in the freedom those choices bring. Independence doesn't mean going it alone, it means having the confidence to live life on your terms while still staying connected to the people and activities that matter most. As we reflect on Frank's story, we can see that independence is not something that happens overnight. It's the result of daily habits, consistent effort, and a mindset that values self-care. Whether it's through exercise, eating well, staying socially engaged, or keeping the mind sharp, each decision Frank makes is a step toward preserving his freedom and his sense of self-worth. Number 2, mental sharpness. The second lesson we want to share with you today is the importance of staying mentally sharp. This is not something we should overlook, especially in a world that constantly demands our attention in so many directions. Mental sharpness is a priority, and the ways we achieve it are varied and deeply personal. It's about making sure that our brains are engaged in a meaningful way, through activities that challenge, stimulate, and grow our intellectual capacity. We're not just talking about basic exercises for your brain, but about cultivating a lifelong habit of learning, thinking, and expanding the way we perceive the world around us. Imagine someone like Maria, for example. Maria is a woman in her late 40s, and she made a commitment to herself early in life that she would always keep her mind active. She enjoys reading books that broaden her understanding of different cultures, philosophies, and histories. But it's not just the act of reading, it's the process of absorbing new ideas, connecting them with what she already knows, and allowing them to shape her worldview. Each book she reads is like a new puzzle piece that fits into the larger picture of her life's learning journey. This is how staying mentally sharp becomes a personal experience, one that enriches every other aspect of life. We often hear that challenging your cognitive abilities is crucial to maintaining mental sharpness. This doesn't just mean doing things that are easy or comfortable, it means pushing yourself to solve puzzles or take on activities that require focus and patience. Take Maria again. She enjoys solving crosswords and logic puzzles. At first, they were frustrating, but over time, she realized they taught her how to think outside the box, to see solutions where none seemed apparent at first. These small mental exercises may seem insignificant, but they accumulate over time, creating a reservoir of mental resilience and creativity that she can draw from in her daily life. Learning a new language is another excellent way to keep your mind agile. When we take on the challenge of learning a language, we are rewiring our brain, forcing it to make new connections, remember vocabulary, and think in ways it hasn't before. Maria decided to learn French a few years ago. At first, it was overwhelming, new grammar rules, unfamiliar sounds, but slowly, as she committed herself to the practice, her mind adapted. Now, she can converse comfortably in a language she once knew nothing about. This kind of mental challenge not only boosts memory but also enhances problem-solving skills, reminding us that our brains are capable of remarkable things if we engage them with curiosity and perseverance. Curiosity is a key driver of mental sharpness. When we are deeply curious about the world, we are naturally inclined to explore new experiences, ideas, and perspectives. This is where the magic happens. Curiosity fuels our desire to learn more, to ask questions, and to find joy in the process of discovery. Maria, for instance, has always been curious about art. So, instead of just admiring paintings from a distance, she started attending art history classes online. It wasn't just the knowledge she gained from these courses, but the way they sparked her imagination, allowing her to see the world in more vivid colors. Her mind became more flexible, more open to new ideas, and more willing to question her assumptions. Enrolling in online courses or learning new skills is another way we ensure that we engage in lifelong learning. Maria knew she couldn't rely on her past education alone to stay sharp, so she started exploring new fields of interest. From photography to cooking to coding, she dipped her toes into different areas, expanding her skills and keeping her brain active. The key here is not to settle for the comfort of what you already know. It's about stepping outside of that comfort zone, into a space where growth and mental stimulation happen. When challenges arise, your problem-solving mindset becomes crucial. You can either see these challenges as insurmountable or as opportunities to stretch your mental capacity. Maria faced a significant challenge when she had to organize a charity event in her community, something she had never done before. Rather than feeling overwhelmed, she viewed this challenge as a puzzle to be solved. She broke it down into smaller tasks, delegated where she could, and tapped into her network for support. Her ability to think creatively and resourcefully not only helped her succeed but also strengthened her problem-solving abilities, making her more confident in facing future obstacles. Travel is another powerful tool for mental sharpness. When we travel, we are exposed to new environments, languages, cultures, and ways of thinking. Maria makes it a point to travel whenever she can, not just for the pleasure of seeing new places, but because travel forces her to adapt, to navigate unfamiliar territory, and to engage with people who think differently. It keeps her mind on its toes, constantly adjusting and learning. Even small travels, like visiting a new town or exploring a different neighborhood, can stimulate our minds in ways that staying in one place cannot. Stepping outside your comfort zone is essential for growth. It's in those moments of discomfort, uncertainty, and challenge that our brains are forced to adapt and grow. For Maria, this meant taking on a leadership role in her community, something she had never envisioned for herself. It was uncomfortable at first, but she quickly realized that the discomfort was the very thing that was pushing her to think in new ways, to solve problems more effectively, and to become more confident in her abilities. This kind of mental growth is what keeps us sharp, even when life throws unexpected challenges our way. We also can't overlook the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who challenge us intellectually. Maria makes sure to spend time with friends who encourage thoughtful discussions, who introduce her to new books, and who engage her in debates that push her to think critically. These interactions are just as important for mental sharpness as any solitary activity, because they force us to articulate our thoughts, defend our ideas, and be open to different perspectives. In the end, staying mentally sharp is about making deliberate choices. It's about committing to activities that stimulate your brain, whether through reading, puzzles, learning new skills, or simply being curious about the world. Maria's story is just one example, but the principles apply to all of us. The more we engage our minds, the sharper and more resilient they become. This is not just about preventing cognitive decline as we age, it's about living a life filled with curiosity, creativity, and growth at every stage. Let us remind ourselves that mental sharpness is not something we achieve and then maintain without effort. It's a continuous process, a daily commitment to challenge our minds, to learn something new, to solve a problem differently, or to step into a situation that makes us uncomfortable. This is how we grow, how we stay sharp, and how we continue to enjoy the richness of life with all its complexities and opportunities. Mental sharpness, in essence, is a reflection of how engaged we are with the world around us. Number 3, social connections. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This simple, yet profound proverb points to a truth we often overlook: the things we nurture in life reflect back in ways that shape us and those around us. When it comes to relationships, the bonds we cultivate are not just fleeting encounters, they define our sense of connection, purpose, and fulfillment. And so, we must ask ourselves, what are we nurturing in our lives today? What fruits are we hoping to bear from the relationships we choose to invest in? Let's explore this together, not just as a concept, but as something that speaks directly to your own life and experiences. The people you surround yourself with and the relationships you foster are at the heart of everything that makes life meaningful. Consider someone like Victor, for instance. He's lived a life where he's been primarily focused on his career, his personal achievements, and the goals he set for himself years ago. But as time goes on, he begins to notice something missing, a gap that no success or accomplishment seems to fill. It's not that he hasn't done well for himself, but that he finds himself longing for something deeper. What Victor is craving is not more recognition or accolades, but rather, the warmth and closeness of real, meaningful connections. This is a common experience, especially as we get older and realize that the relationships we take for granted, or don't prioritize, are the ones that hold the most value in the long run. When we speak of relationships, we are not merely talking about people we encounter casually or briefly, but those connections that provide emotional sustenance, companionship, and a genuine sense of belonging. Think for a moment about the people who make you feel truly understood, whether that's family, lifelong friends, or members of your community. These bonds are what help us navigate through life's complexities, offering us not just company but a deep sense of security and comfort. It's in these connections that we find our emotional anchors, the people who remind us of who we are at our core. Victor's life started to change when he decided to take a proactive step. He reached out to old friends, joined community groups, and rekindled relationships that had gone dormant. What he found wasn't just renewed friendships, but a sense of connection that breathed new life into his daily routine. He started attending local events and volunteering for causes he believed in, slowly weaving himself back into the social fabric that had once been so familiar. This decision didn't just bring people back into his life, it gave him a renewed sense of purpose. Victor's story is a reminder that even when we feel disconnected, it only takes one step to begin rebuilding those bonds that truly matter. Now, some of us may think, I don't need that, I'm fine by myself, but let's consider the long-term impact of isolation. Without strong relationships, life can begin to feel empty and colorless. The truth is, we thrive on connection. Even the most independent among us need those moments of laughter with friends, those quiet conversations with loved ones, those simple reminders that we're not alone in this world. Victor hadn't realized how much he was missing until he started investing in his community again. What began as small efforts grew into something larger, friendships that offered both joy and solace during difficult times. There's another aspect we can't ignore, the joy that comes from contributing to the lives of others. Whether through acts of service, mentoring, or simply offering a helping hand, when we give to others, we often find that we receive even more in return. It's the paradox of human connection. By reaching out to others, we end up enriching our own lives in ways we couldn't have imagined. Victor's involvement in his community didn't just fill his social calendar, it filled his heart with a sense of fulfillment that no career success had ever matched. Think about mentoring as an example. Victor decided to volunteer his time mentoring younger people who were just starting out in their careers. At first, he saw it as a way to give back, but what he didn't expect was how much he would learn from them in return. Their energy, optimism, and fresh perspectives reminded him of the passion he had when he first started out. What began as a one-way relationship evolved into something far more reciprocal. And this is the essence of meaningful connection. It's never just about one person giving and another receiving. Both individuals grow, learn, and are enriched by the experience. These relationships become more than just social engagements, they form the foundation upon which we build our lives. When we invest in people, we are building a safety net of emotional support that will carry us through life's inevitable ups and downs. It's not just about having someone to share good times with, but knowing that when challenges arise, you have a network of support that will stand by you. This is what Victor discovered. As he rekindled relationships and formed new ones, he found himself surrounded by a community of people who were there for him, not just in moments of celebration, but in times of struggle and doubt. Think for a moment about your own life. What relationships are you currently cultivating? Are there people you've lost touch with, connections you've let fade over time? Now is the perfect opportunity to rekindle those relationships, to reach out and rebuild the bonds that may have weakened over the years. Like Victor, you may find that the simple act of reconnecting can lead to profound changes in your emotional well-being. When we give of our time, our energy, and our care, we create ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. Victor's involvement in his community inspired others to get involved, creating a cycle of generosity and connection that impacted far more lives than his own. This is how we build a sense of purpose that goes beyond individual success. It's through contributing to the lives of others that we find true fulfillment. Relationships, much like plants, require consistent care and attention. You wouldn't expect a tree to bear fruit if you never watered it, just as you can't expect a relationship to thrive without effort. It's the small, everyday acts of connection, making time for a friend, offering support to a colleague, or simply being present in someone's life, that allow relationships to flourish. These gestures, though small, have a profound impact on the strength and longevity of our bonds. Number 4, financial security. Financial concerns have a way of weighing heavily on everyone's mind, particularly as we grow older. It's not unusual to reach a certain point in life when we start questioning whether we've done enough to prepare for the future. This moment of reflection can stir up anxiety because we all want to be sure that we're not just scraping by in our later years, but truly thriving. What we're really searching for is a level of financial security that allows us to enjoy life without constant worry. This kind of stability, however, doesn't come by accident. It's something that requires careful thought, planning, and commitment. Let's look at the example of Maria, a woman who, like many of us, spent her younger years focused on her career and raising her family. Now, in her late 50s, she's starting to think more seriously about retirement. Maria dreams of exploring new places, spoiling her grandchildren, and maybe even picking up some hobbies she didn't have time for before. But for those dreams to become a reality, she knows her finances need to be in excellent shape. And this is where we all find ourselves at one point or another, realizing that financial choices made today shape the quality of life we'll experience in the years to come. One of the first steps towards securing financial stability is mastering the art of budgeting. While some people might think of budgeting as a limiting or restrictive practice, it's actually quite the opposite. In reality, having a solid budget gives you the freedom to control where your money goes. It ensures that your finances are allocated efficiently, helping you avoid wasteful spending. For Maria, creating a clear budget allowed her to set aside money for her retirement goals while still enjoying life in the present. This type of financial clarity doesn't just reduce stress, it empowers you to take charge of your future. Another critical piece of the puzzle is managing debt. It's no secret that debt can quickly become a heavy burden if left unchecked. For many people, what starts as a manageable loan or credit card balance can spiral into something much more overwhelming over time. Maria was careful to tackle her debts early on, making it a priority to pay them down before they became a major obstacle. By doing this, she freed herself from the constraints that debt often imposes, allowing her to save and invest more effectively for the future. And this is a lesson for all of us. Being proactive about reducing debt can give us the financial breathing room we need to move forward confidently. Retirement planning is another area that requires serious attention if we're going to achieve financial security. Too often, people wait until it's almost too late to start thinking about retirement, but by then, they've lost valuable time. Maria didn't fall into that trap. She began planning for retirement well in advance, carefully considering what kind of lifestyle she wanted and how much money she would need to support it. By seeking advice from financial experts and setting up a diversified investment portfolio, Maria ensured that her retirement savings would continue to grow and support her long-term goals. This proactive approach gave her the peace of mind that her future was secure. When we talk about financial independence, we're really talking about a state of freedom from the pressures of needing to work just to make ends meet. For Maria, reaching financial independence meant that she could finally focus on the things that brought her joy, without the constant stress of worrying about money. This is a level of financial security that we all strive for because it allows us to live life on our own terms. It's not just about having enough to get by, it's about having enough to pursue our passions and embrace the opportunities that come our way. Financial independence also opens up new possibilities that might have seemed out of reach before. With her finances in order, Maria was able to fulfill her lifelong dream of traveling the world. She didn't have to constantly check her bank account or make compromises because she had planned for this moment. This kind of financial stability gives us the freedom to fully engage in life's adventures, whether that means exploring new places, pursuing creative endeavors, or simply enjoying more time with family. The key is to build a financial foundation that allows you to say yes to the things that matter most. Being financially secure also means being able to retire on your own terms. Too many people are forced to continue working longer than they'd like, simply because they didn't plan adequately. Maria was able to choose the timing of her retirement, not because she had to stop working, but because she was ready to. Retirement, for her, was a choice, not a necessity. And isn't that what we all want? The freedom to decide when to step away from work, not out of financial desperation, but because we're ready to enjoy the next chapter of our lives. Achieving financial independence, however, requires dedication, long-term thinking, and sometimes a bit of sacrifice. Maria didn't achieve her goals overnight. She made conscious decisions along the way, whether it was cutting back on unnecessary expenses, avoiding impulsive purchases, or consistently contributing to her retirement savings. These small, everyday choices added up over time and put her in a position of financial strength. We all need to recognize that the financial decisions we make today will shape the quality of our lives tomorrow. It's easy to get caught up in the present and prioritize short-term desires over long-term stability. But financial wisdom comes from understanding when to delay gratification for a bigger reward later on. Maria made a habit of distinguishing between wants and needs, making sure that her spending aligned with her larger financial goals. By holding off on indulgences that didn't serve her future, she positioned herself to enjoy the things that truly brought her fulfillment. This kind of discipline is essential for anyone seeking lasting financial security. We should also remember that financial planning doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's important to involve trusted professionals or even family members in these discussions. Maria worked closely with a financial advisor who guided her through the complexities of retirement savings, tax strategies, and investment options. Having that expert perspective ensured that she was making the most of her financial opportunities. It's a reminder that seeking advice from knowledgeable sources can make a significant difference in how we navigate our financial futures. Securing financial stability also has a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being. When we're not constantly worrying about money, we free up mental energy to focus on other areas of life. Maria noticed this shift when she felt confident in her financial situation. She found herself sleeping better, enjoying more meaningful time with loved ones, and pursuing her hobbies with enthusiasm. Financial peace of mind isn't just about the future, it improves the quality of our lives in the here and now. Ultimately, financial independence allows us to live with a sense of purpose and freedom. Maria, now financially secure, didn't spend her retirement sitting idle. Instead, she found a new passion in giving back to her community, using her resources to support causes close to her heart. For her, financial independence wasn't just about personal gain, it allowed her to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. This is the power of financial stability. It opens doors not only for personal fulfillment but also for contributing to the world in a positive way. At the heart of financial planning is about creating options. Maria's journey to financial independence wasn't about amassing a fortune for its own sake, it was about giving herself the flexibility to live life according to her values and desires. Financial planning, when done thoughtfully, gives us the ability to make choices that align with who we are and what we truly care about. Number 5. Emotional well-being. Every cloud has a silver lining. Isn't it interesting how this proverb seems to have been passed down through generations, each time carrying the same profound truth? We've heard it countless times, yet it's one of those sayings that continues to speak to us no matter what phase of life we're in. It teaches us that maintaining a positive outlook on life isn't just about ignoring the difficulties, it's about choosing to see beyond them. And that choice, the decision to focus on what's good, is one of the most powerful tools we have to protect our emotional well-being. We know that life throws challenges our way. Some days, it may feel like the clouds just keep coming, blocking out any sense of light or hope. But it's in these moments that we remind ourselves, resilience is our greatest asset. Resilience doesn't mean that we're unaffected by hardship, it means that we acknowledge the difficulties, but we don't let them consume us. We find the silver lining, even if it's hidden in the smallest of things, a kind word, a moment of stillness, or the simple joy of being able to breathe and carry on. Let's take a moment and think about a person we know, perhaps someone like Maria. Maria works a demanding job, balancing her career with raising 2 children. On the surface, her life might seem overwhelming, filled with endless responsibilities and pressures. But Maria has made a conscious effort to approach life with a positive mindset. She knows that her attitude shapes her experiences. So, instead of focusing on the stress, she looks for joy in the everyday moments, laughing with her children, finding satisfaction in completing a project at work, or simply appreciating a cup of coffee in the morning. We could learn something from Maria, couldn't we? She's not immune to hardship. There are days when her exhaustion catches up with her, when the weight of her responsibilities feels too heavy to carry. But even on those days, Maria chooses gratitude. She takes a deep breath and asks herself, what can I find to be grateful for today? And every time, she finds something. That simple act of focusing on gratitude transforms her outlook. It doesn't erase her challenges, but it makes them more manageable. Now, let's be clear, maintaining a positive outlook doesn't mean we deny the existence of negative emotions. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect when it isn't. We experience the full range of emotions as humans, and that's completely natural. But what we choose to focus on has a direct impact on our emotional well-being. When we intentionally shift our focus to the good, even in the midst of adversity, we lighten the emotional load we carry. Let's return to Maria for a moment. Imagine she faces a particularly tough week. Her children are unwell, work deadlines are piling up, and she feels overwhelmed. It would be easy for her to spiral into frustration and despair. But instead, she takes a moment at the end of each day to reflect on what went right. Maybe her children shared a laugh despite being sick, or perhaps a colleague offered unexpected help at work. These moments become her silver linings. They give her the strength to push through the difficulties and emerge with a lighter heart. We should all consider the impact that gratitude can have on our emotional well-being. It's a simple practice, but incredibly powerful. When we focus on what we have instead of what we lack, we start to see our lives in a more positive light. Gratitude shifts our perspective, allowing us to appreciate the good even when things feel tough. Maintaining a sense of purpose is another key element to emotional resilience. Whether through work, hobbies, or relationships, having a clear sense of why we do what we do gives us motivation and fulfillment. For Maria, her purpose is rooted in both her career and her family. She finds meaning in the work she does, knowing that she's contributing to something larger than herself. At the same time, she knows that her role as a mother gives her life a deep sense of meaning. This sense of purpose keeps her grounded, even when life feels chaotic. But here's the thing, purpose isn't something we stumble upon by accident. It's something we cultivate. We make deliberate choices about how we spend our time and energy. We invest in relationships that matter, pursue work that fulfills us, and engage in activities that bring us joy. And when we do this, we wake up each day with a sense of direction. We know that no matter what challenges come our way, we're moving towards something meaningful. Of course, resilience and purpose don't develop overnight. Like any skill, they take time and practice. But with each small step we take, whether it's choosing to focus on gratitude, finding joy in everyday moments, or reminding ourselves of our purpose, we strengthen our emotional foundation. And over time, we become better equipped to handle whatever life throws at us. We often underestimate the power of small, intentional actions. A simple shift in mindset can make all the difference. Think about how Maria, despite her hectic life, finds moments of joy in the mundane. We can all do the same. Whether it's taking a few minutes each day to reflect on what we're grateful for, or making a conscious effort to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, these small actions can transform our emotional well-being in profound ways. And let's not forget about the ripple effect. When we maintain a positive outlook, we not only improve our own emotional well-being but also influence those around us. Maria's children, for example, learn from her example. They see how she handles challenges with grace, how she finds joy in the little things, and how she focuses on what truly matters. In doing so, she's teaching them resilience and gratitude, passing on these valuable lessons to the next generation. In the end, maintaining a positive outlook on life is a choice we make every day. It's about recognizing that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. We can choose to see the good, even when life feels difficult. We can choose to focus on gratitude, purpose, and resilience. And when we make that choice, we not only improve our emotional well-being but also create a more fulfilling, meaningful life. So, the next time a challenge comes your way, remember the silver lining. Look for the good, even if it's hidden in the smallest of details. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude, find your sense of purpose, and build your resilience one day at a time. It's not always easy, but with practice, it becomes a natural part of how we approach life. And in the end, we'll find that every cloud really does have a silver lining, if only we choose to see it. Number 6, spiritual growth. Something that truly shapes our journey towards spiritual growth, more than we often realize, is the way we approach life with a positive outlook and how resilient we become when challenges arise. Every day presents us with a choice. We can either focus on what's going wrong or lean into the blessings that come in small, unexpected moments. This is not about pretending that difficulties don't exist, but about fostering a mindset that naturally gravitates toward the light, toward the joy that can be found even in the most ordinary of experiences. When we cultivate this way of seeing the world, it builds within us a resilience that helps us handle the twists and turns of life with a sense of grace and composure. Let's consider Maria as an example. Maria starts her day with a routine, a simple one, really. But instead of rushing through it, she takes a moment to enjoy the warmth of her coffee cup, the sunlight streaming through her window, and the quiet before the busyness of the day begins. This might seem small, but these moments are where her focus lies. By appreciating them, she sets herself up for a day where, regardless of what happens, she's mentally prepared to navigate challenges without losing sight of what's good. That mindset doesn't mean her struggles disappear, but it does mean they don't consume her. She's able to approach difficulties with a steady heart because she's anchored in gratitude for the blessings she acknowledges, no matter how minor they may seem. What we're talking about here is resilience in its truest form, not just bouncing back from hardships, but facing life with an outlook that seeks the good even in adversity. When we practice this, our spiritual growth deepens because we're teaching ourselves to not be overwhelmed by life's challenges. Instead, we are developing the ability to find value and beauty even in the midst of struggle. This builds a sense of inner strength that allows us to handle life's inevitable ups and downs with more grace. Now, this positive outlook works hand in hand with a sense of purpose. Just as resilience fortifies us against setbacks, purpose gives us a reason to keep moving forward. Have you ever noticed how people with a strong sense of purpose seem more grounded, more directed? That's because purpose acts as a compass. Whether it's found in your career, your hobbies, or the way you give back to others, purpose creates meaning in everything you do. It gives life direction and keeps you anchored, especially in moments of uncertainty. Maria, for instance, finds her purpose in mentoring others at work. It's something she's passionate about, something that aligns with her core values. This sense of purpose makes even the toughest parts of her job feel worthwhile because she knows that she's contributing to something greater than herself. Purpose isn't just about what we do, it's about why we do it. And when we live in alignment with that deeper why, we experience a level of satisfaction and fulfillment that goes beyond temporary pleasure. But the real beauty of it all happens when a positive mindset, resilience, and purpose come together. When we focus on the blessings, when we keep moving forward despite setbacks, and when we align our actions with a sense of deeper meaning, something shifts inside us. Life's challenges no longer seem as daunting because we've built within ourselves the resources to navigate them. And the more we lean into this way of living, the stronger we become. We start to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones, opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become more resilient. Maria's story illustrates this beautifully. When she faces difficult situations, she doesn't let frustration or disappointment overwhelm her. She taps into her sense of purpose, remembering why she does what she does, and that gives her the strength to persevere. Her resilience comes from her ability to keep her eyes on the bigger picture. And with each challenge she overcomes, her spiritual growth deepens. She learns more about herself, about life, and about the importance of staying grounded in her values. In your own life, consider how often we get caught up in the belief that growth only happens in moments of ease or clarity. But real growth often takes root in the middle of chaos, when things are far from perfect. It's in those moments, when we choose to focus on the blessings, that our resilience strengthens. And over time, this practice of seeing the good, no matter how small, becomes second nature. It becomes our default response to life's inevitable challenges. We can also see how this outlook affects our relationships. When we have a strong sense of purpose, especially one that involves contributing to the well-being of others, conflicts become easier to navigate. Instead of focusing on the discomfort of the moment, we're able to step back and look at the bigger picture. Maria, for example, values her friendships deeply. When disagreements arise, she doesn't allow them to create distance. Instead, she approaches these situations with a mindset of growth, seeing them as opportunities to deepen her connection with others. This not only strengthens her relationships but also enriches her overall sense of connection to the world around her. As you continue to grow in your ability to focus on life's small joys, you'll notice that your world starts to feel more interconnected. These moments of happiness, combined with a sense of purpose, aren't isolated. They weave together to form a larger tapestry of meaning. And in that tapestry, everything plays a part: the good, the bad, the unexpected. Everything matters because it's all contributing to your growth, your resilience, and your spiritual journey. Over time, this practice transforms not only how we handle challenges but how we experience life as a whole. Situations that once felt overwhelming now become opportunities for reflection and learning. Your sense of purpose will keep you grounded, even when life feels unpredictable. It provides you with a reason to keep moving forward, to stay connected to your values, and to continue contributing to something larger than yourself. We often think of resilience and purpose as qualities we either have or don't. But the truth is, they are cultivated over time through daily practices and choices. Each time you choose to focus on the good, even when it's hard, you're strengthening your resilience. Every time you act in alignment with your deeper sense of purpose, you're enriching your life with meaning and direction. Number 7, continuous learning. Not only young people have to learn to adapt to new environments, but also older individuals must pass through this stage, too. We often assume that flexibility and adaptability are traits primarily reserved for youth, but in reality, they are qualities that remain essential throughout our lives. As we age, the world around us continues to evolve, technologies advance, social dynamics shift, and new challenges arise. The key to thriving in this ever-changing world is not clinging to the past but embracing the future with an open mind. Adaptability becomes even more crucial as we grow older because it allows us to face these transformations with resilience and confidence. Think about someone like Maria, a woman in her 60s who spent most of her career working in a traditional office setting. When remote work and digital tools became the norm, she could have easily resisted, feeling overwhelmed by the new technology. Instead, Maria decided to take an online course to improve her digital skills, understanding that the world was moving forward and that she needed to keep pace. By doing so, she didn't just acquire new technical abilities, she reignited her sense of purpose, discovering that learning didn't stop with age, it just required a shift in approach. As we explore the idea of adaptability, let's remember that staying open to acquiring new skills and knowledge is not just about keeping up with the times, it's about personal growth. When we embrace challenges with a mindset that sees them as opportunities rather than obstacles, we create space for continuous development. Maria's story illustrates this well. Her ability to face an unfamiliar situation allowed her to grow intellectually and emotionally. She didn't view her age as a barrier but as a new phase to discover more about herself and the world around her. The beauty of adaptability lies in its capacity to shift our perspectives. We often fall into patterns of thinking that tell us change is difficult or uncomfortable, but when we welcome it, we open ourselves to endless possibilities. A growth mindset, one that encourages curiosity and learning, fuels not only intellectual growth but emotional fulfillment. When we step into new territories, we challenge old fears and insecurities, allowing ourselves to evolve in ways we might never have imagined. What keeps us motivated in this journey is the constant pursuit of new experiences. Life becomes richer when we seek out opportunities that expand our horizons, no matter our age. We may sometimes feel that certain paths are reserved for younger people, but adaptability teaches us that there's no age limit on exploration. When we commit to learning new things, whether it's a hobby, skill, or even a new way of thinking, we keep our minds and hearts engaged with the world around us. We might ask ourselves, what prevents us from being adaptable? Often, it's fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of not being good enough anymore. But let's look at adaptability not as a test of our abilities but as a practice of growth. Each challenge we face provides an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more attuned to life's endless possibilities. Like Maria, we can choose to view challenges as stepping stones to personal development, rather than as roadblocks to our progress. Consider how adaptability applies to emotional resilience as well. When relationships change or circumstances shift unexpectedly, being adaptable allows us to navigate these emotional landscapes with grace. It's not just about surviving difficult moments, it's about learning from them and emerging stronger. Every setback becomes a lesson, every disappointment an invitation to grow. This adaptability becomes a cornerstone of fulfillment as we age because it helps us maintain a sense of purpose. When we are open to change, we never stop evolving. The world will continue to change whether we like it or not, and those who thrive are those who remain open to learning from it. We don't lose relevance, we grow into new relevance, constantly discovering what else life has to offer. Moreover, adaptability in the later stages of life is deeply tied to our ability to stay connected with others. Social networks, family dynamics, and even our communities evolve. When we remain flexible and open, we sustain meaningful connections with the people around us. Maria, for example, found that her adaptability not only improved her work life but also deepened her relationships with her grandchildren. They bonded over technology, and she became a source of inspiration to them, showing that learning and growth never stop. The adaptability we cultivate also nurtures our emotional health. When we embrace change, we allow ourselves to release the rigidity of past expectations. We become more compassionate toward ourselves, understanding that life's path isn't always linear. This perspective helps us manage stress and uncertainty, knowing that we are capable of adjusting to whatever life throws our way. As we continue on this path, we recognize that adaptability is not just about surviving change, it's about thriving through it. It keeps our minds sharp, our spirits engaged, and our hearts open to new possibilities. Just like Maria, we can view every new experience as a chance to grow. Whether we are learning new skills, navigating changes in our relationships, or simply adjusting to the shifting world around us, adaptability ensures that we remain active participants in life. We also find that adaptability fosters gratitude. As we adapt, we begin to appreciate the richness of life's changes. Each new challenge becomes an opportunity to reflect on what we've gained rather than what we've lost. And this gratitude fuels further growth, creating a cycle of positive development that carries us through all stages of life. Number 8. Sense of humor. Let us ask you this: have you ever been in a situation where things were tense, emotions were high, and then, suddenly, someone cracked a joke, and just like that, the weight of the moment lifted? Everything that seemed so serious a second ago now feels manageable, even a little bit amusing. That, right there, is the power of humor. It has this remarkable ability to turn even the heaviest situations into something lighter. And what if we told you that by holding onto that sense of humor, you could actually strengthen your resilience and make life's challenges less overwhelming? Think back to a time when life threw you a curveball. Maybe you were juggling too many responsibilities at once, and the stress was beginning to show. In moments like these, we often find ourselves spiraling into frustration or even panic. But what if, instead of letting that stress control us, we simply took a deep breath, smiled at the absurdity of it all, and allowed ourselves to laugh? Humor is a way of reframing our problems, of stepping back and recognizing that no matter how difficult the situation may seem, it's rarely as catastrophic as it feels in the moment. There's something truly liberating about finding humor in a tough spot. When we laugh, it's as if we're giving ourselves permission to release the tension, to ease into the discomfort instead of fighting against it. Humor helps us approach life's challenges with a playful attitude, one that says, "Yes, this might be hard, but I refuse to let it break me." And the truth is, when we carry this lightness with us, we become more resourceful, more adaptable, and better equipped to handle whatever comes our way. Let's talk about an example. Picture this again. Frank, a man known for his sharp sense of humor, was once faced with a serious setback. He lost his job unexpectedly, a moment that would send most people into a downward spiral of worry and stress. But Frank, in his usual fashion, found a way to lighten the situation. "Well," he said to his wife with a grin, "it seems like I've been given an extended holiday. I wonder how long I'll enjoy it." His wife couldn't help but laugh, and just like that, the tension in the room lifted. Frank's sense of humor didn't change the fact that he needed to find a new job, but it changed the energy in which he approached the problem. This is what humor does. It shifts the energy. Instead of being weighed down by fear or frustration, we find ourselves lifted by laughter. Frank's ability to see the lighter side of his situation not only helped him keep a positive mindset, but it also influenced how his wife felt. By creating an atmosphere of ease, he made space for optimism and clarity, allowing both of them to face the challenge without the crushing weight of negativity. We often underestimate how much our attitude shapes our experiences. When we take ourselves too seriously, we become rigid, trapped in the belief that everything must be perfect, controlled, or immediately fixed. But humor invites us to be flexible. It reminds us that life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and we don't always have to respond to them with intensity. In fact, the more we can laugh at ourselves and the situations we find ourselves in, the more resilient we become. Think about the last time you faced a tough situation. Was there a moment when, if you had chosen to laugh, it might have made the burden lighter? Humor is not about denying the seriousness of what we face, it's about choosing to face it with a lighter heart. It's saying, "This is difficult, but I won't let it drain my joy." Laughter allows us to create space between ourselves and the challenge, and in that space, we find new perspectives, new solutions, and sometimes, even strength we didn't know we had. Now, humor doesn't just benefit us individually, it's contagious. When we bring laughter into our interactions with others, we uplift those around us. We've all experienced moments when someone's laugh was so genuine, so infectious, that we couldn't help but join in. In those moments, even if only for a little while, everything seems lighter, more bearable. That's the power of shared joy. It bonds us, creating connections where there may have been distance, easing tension in relationships, and making difficult conversations a little less daunting. Take, for example, relationships. A sense of humor can be the glue that holds people together during hard times. When misunderstandings arise or when life's pressures put a strain on communication, humor can break the ice. It allows us to see each other not as adversaries but as allies, both navigating the complexities of life. Humor can diffuse arguments before they escalate, turn irritations into moments of connection, and remind us that even in the midst of conflict, we are on the same team. It's important to note, though, that humor isn't about avoidance. We're not suggesting that we laugh everything off or that we use humor to escape from reality. Instead, we're saying that humor can be an essential tool for dealing with reality. Life is hard sometimes. There's no denying that. But it's precisely because of life's challenges that we need moments of lightness. Humor is the breath of fresh air that keeps us from suffocating under the weight of it all. When we approach life with a playful, lighthearted attitude, we not only improve our own mental and emotional well-being, but we also create an environment that others want to be a part of. People are drawn to those who can find joy in the midst of adversity, who can laugh in the face of challenges, and who remind them that life, even with its ups and downs, is still full of moments to be enjoyed. Imagine walking into a room where the mood is tense, stress is palpable, and everyone is on edge. Now, imagine you are the one who brings a sense of lightness to that space. A well-timed joke, a smile, a laugh, these small gestures can transform the energy in the room. Suddenly, people start to relax. The pressure eases. Conversations flow more easily. This is the power of humor in action. It's subtle, but its effects are profound. As we wrap up this video, we trust that the 8 powerful habits we've shared have inspired you to take steps toward living a life of vitality, purpose, and fulfillment, no matter your age. These habits are more than just tips, they're a roadmap to thriving in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. By incorporating them into your daily life, you're setting yourself up for a future that's not only longer but richer and more rewarding. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and stories with us in the comments below. Have you already started embracing any of these habits? How have they impacted your life so far? If you're just beginning, let us know which one excites you the most. Your experiences could be the spark that motivates others to start their own journey. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to give it a like and share it with others who could benefit from these insights. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release more life-changing content. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to continue this journey with you in our next video.